So, as I said in my last video, I'm getting ready to move to Korea. And one thing that I've found really fun to talk about lately, because it's like this giant comedy of errors, is how you actually go about leaving the United States to live somewhere else for an extended period of time. The documents, the process, and all, it's ridiculous. It's so weird. So we're going to talk about it for a few minutes, okay? If you're not into this, then go now. But it's kind of funny, I promise. In order to work overseas, you have to have a visa. Um, and it's amazing to me how many people don't know this. I had to explain this to a friend. They thought if you had a passport, you could just go. Yeah, a passport can get you into a country for a certain period of time if you're a tourist, but if you try to work and make money in that country while you're using, your tourist passport, that's how you get in trouble. Trouble. I don't know what kind of trouble, because I'm not going to do that, but that's trouble, bright blinking lights everywhere. So you go through getting a visa, and the way that you get a visa is you first have to get the job, which I had, and then you go through and you gather up all of these documents that prove that you are who you say you are, and allow that government to basically say, yeah, we're cool with you working in our country, that's fine, you can have this job. My recruiter sent me this really detailed list of everything I needed to do, but this is just the fun stuff that I remember. Your FBI background check, where when you apply for a job and they do the little FBI background check and it usually takes maybe 24 hours. Yeah, that's because that company is probably paying out the nose to get that done within 24 hours, and they're probably going through some weird other agency. For you as a U.S. citizen to get an FBI background check, you have to send in like $50, 3 forms of identification, and you need to do it about 6 to 8 weeks before you actually need that FBI background check, because that's how long it takes to process it. If you want them to expedite that in any way, you don't go through the FBI, you go through a private company, and it costs you around $400 to get it in maybe 2 or 3 weeks instead of 6 to 8. So you've got your background check. God help you, you better have a passport already, because as everybody hopefully knows, that's its own separate insane process to get a passport. I had one, so we were good. And then you get your college transcripts. You have to have, the sealed college transcripts. And you also need to get copies of your degree apostilled. I had never heard this term before. I had no idea what apostilled meant, and I'm wondering if you do too. So I'm going to share with you what apostilled means. Basically, there was this big convention some time back when they said, we don't trust your notaries. And the other countries said, well, we don't trust your notaries either. Okay, well then we need to come up with some kind of system where if our documents from our country are going to be used in your country, that you're going to trust that they're legit. So they came up with the process of apostilled, and basically it's something that your Secretary of State does. So my college degrees had to be apostilled. I had to take them to a notary of the public. Once they were notarized by my local notary, I had to send them into the Ohio Secretary of State and have, because that's the state I'm in, is in Ohio, whatever state you're in. But then you send them into your actual secretary of your state and pay another $10, $15 per document and get them apostilled, which is basically he staples a sheet of paper saying, I am the Secretary of State and I say that these are A-OK. Wasn't too bad, but what was fun was that the FBI background check, you wait 6 to 8 weeks for that FBI background check to come, right? So you're already getting nervous that, it's been 2 months and I still don't have this document. You get that document. As soon as you get that document, you have to turn around and send that into the other Secretary of State, the big one in D.C., like of the country, and she apostilles it again. Blah! Because, you just got this document from the FBI that says it's from the FBI. It's notarized from the FBI, but that's not good enough. You have to send it, you just got it from D.C., you have to send it back to D.C. to get it apostilled. So insanity. So, all of this is going on. There's paper going everywhere. You're sending money orders out left and right. I can't tell you how many money orders I've bought in the last 4 months, probably more than in my entire life before this. So after all of this madness, you get all of your documents together and you send them into your recruiter, and at least the way that we did it, I sent them to my recruiter, who then forwarded them to Korea, and then they gave them to the wonderful visa people. And then you wait. You wait like 2 or 3 weeks. And then one magical day, your recruiter will call you and say, oh, by the way, we've got your visa issuance number. And what that is basically saying, yeah, you can have a visa once you give us your passport. And what you have to do is you have to get in your car and drive to the Korean consulate, which is why I was in Chicago a couple weeks ago, because you have to drive to the consulate and give them your passport. I guess you could mail it, but my recruiter basically told me that if I mailed it, she would come down here and kill me. So I made a trip to Chicago, and I got to go into the little Korean consulate and give them my passport. And after I paid for 2 days shipping, I got it back in 2 weeks. But I got it back, and now I have a visa, and it's awesome. And now I am waiting to leave the country. I leave Ohio on Thursday, and then I'll be up in Alaska then for a couple weeks, and then I'll be going over to Gwangju, to Korea, and I'm really nervous, and I'm still not packed, and I don't know what to do about that. I don't understand why this is so hard. I don't know. Okay, bye.